Hello, everyone. It's William here at Allegory Gallery. And look, I have lights behind me. I'm actually lit up today. We replaced the bulbs in the lights finally and got those working again. Took us long enough, right? But today we have some lovely things to show you. And those lovely things actually I have to turn on right now. So we're going to do that and make those active in the store so that y'all can get them. I'm going to put up the link here, Allegory Gallery, in case you don't know. We're Allegory Gallery. Welcome. We're a bead store in Ligonier, Pennsylvania, lovely Ligonier, Pennsylvania. And it is a chilly day today. It's 32 degrees right now. We had a high of 33 today. So we're just about, where our high was. It is chilly today, though. I can sense it. I can sense it in the force. I'm chilly today. But did a lot of stuff today. So how's your week starting out? If you're tuning in, please say hi. I see Suzanne is here and Marianne, our AG Bead fam out there. June is here with us today. So lots and lots going on. It's crazy right now. I made some notes so that I know what I'm talking about today. So don't mind me if I'm looking over here all the time, but one of the things that we are getting ready for Tucson, Arizona. The Big Bead show's out in Tucson. Andrew, Cynthia, and Azalea are going to be traveling across the country. Andrew is going down to North Carolina at the end of this week. Time is flying. He'll be going down at the end of this week for a symposium at NCU, and then, or ECU? I forget. Anyway, going for a symposium down there, ECU, I think. And he is going to be coming back after that, directly after that, to work on some more things. And then he will be here for like a few days. And then he will be traveling back down to North Carolina again to stop off at Green Girl Studios to pick up stuff from them, load it into the van to pick them up, and then travel across the country to Tucson, Arizona. So lots and lots of stuff going on to get ready for that. We're working on our dry setup right now, the dry run, the preemptive, getting our table ready, trying to make it look nice. We have 2 tables we have to fill, which is a lot for us because there wasn't much time in between everything that we've been doing to get ready for this. So we're trying to work hard and work along to make enough stuff to put on the table. So hopefully we'll sell some stuff and then be able to make some money to buy some stuff and bring new stuff back for all of you out there. So that's a good thing. That's a great thing, right? And then, what else? What else is this weekend? Andrew's going to be gone, but it's the Great Bead Extravaganza is coming up this weekend. So Friday night is preview night, and we're going to be working hard on getting great things ready for you all out there. Our kit for the Midwinter Market was the first Global Adventure Kit, and those have all been sent out. There are no more. You cannot get any more. And so thank you for all of you who grabbed one of those. We will be working with that kit and some other things to show you during the TGBE. Our spot is no longer opening spot. We're going to be starting a little later in the day on Saturday. Instead of shifting everyone's schedule, we just are starting earlier or starting later on Saturday morning. And then we will be going to go live at 8:15 p.m. That's 5:15 p.m. Pacific time. That's our slot now for this Midwinter Market. I'm sure we'll be back to the beginning and opening things up next time. But for now, we are going to be going the last showing on Saturday. So it'll be different to to see the difference in the audience, or if we get more people tuning in because it's a little bit later in the day, or less people tuning in. So we'll see. It'll be interesting. But that's happening this weekend. We will be going Saturday, and of course Saturday and Sunday are the 2 big days for presentations. And if you can catch the preview party on Friday night, we look forward to seeing you then. Bead in the new year, y'all, is going great. Y'all are really, really, championing that and really having a great time, it looks like. So I'm glad to see that. I've been sharing some posts on our timeline, in our stories, on Instagram, on Facebook. Lots of great designs being made. Please, if I don't share your design, don't be upset. I'm just picking some. I'm trying to pick some every day or every other day that just come up in my timeline to share them. It's been wonderful to see everything. The album has 60 some photos in it, I think, which is incredible. We love seeing that. So thank you all for playing along, and I hope you're enjoying it, and I hope you're getting something out of it. Let me scroll back. I know I'm missing some comments here. Vanessa is with us. Hello, Vanessa. Hello, Amanda. Hello, Soshi. Hello, Teresa. Let's see here. Who else? Anyone else? Teresa is joining in. We have 2 Teresas today. I had to make sure I wasn't saying hello again. Suzanne says, I'll have to catch you on replay. You're not going to be available Saturday night. Is that it? Yeah, a different time slot is a little bit different for us, but hopefully it'll be good. Hopefully it'll be good. It's going to be what it's going to be anyway. Let's see here. Marianne, I also have been trying to find all my Karn. I just finished rewatching a Reading the Past live. Just finished watching a Reading the Past live. I don't know what that is. I don't think I know what that is, or I'm not reading it right or thinking right. My brain is going crazy right now. It's been a very hectic day. Between this and doing some things for my other job in all of this, it's insane. Hi, Cynthia. Glad to see you here. Hello, Norma. Oh, there it is. I have been trying to find all my carnelians for the favorite gemstone design. Nice. Sometimes it's not hard to find our stuff, right? So a lot of y'all out there have organized for the new year, which is great. If you haven't yet, I think that prompt's coming up. So hopefully it'll get you in the spirit. Lorraine is with us. Hello, Lorraine. A history YouTube channel. Nice. That's nice. What else? Going back, I said I had to make a list because my brain is so frazzled today. So today in this video, we have a new design challenge mix coming up for February. We're going to debut that today, and you can get that in our online store right here. I just made them available, so the links now work in the description of this video. Everything should be good. There's also a new luxury bead blend that we're going to take a look at today. And I'm going to show you some of Andrew's paintings. I think he showed some of them. He's been showing them on photos. I don't know if he showed any of these ones on video. It's hard for me to keep track, especially when I'm at my other job. But even if he did, there are some new ones since then. So I'm going to show you his paintings on video so y'all can see those. They are really, really nice. I like these a lot. The series is called Portraits from the Other Side. So of course it has a little fantastical kind of vibe to them. And one of the things I've been doing today is peeling wooden pendants. We are making a ton of wooden pendants. Now that our laser's working, hooray. I don't know if I mentioned that to you all, but our laser is back to working. And at least, no, I'm going to knock on all the wood right now because it's working at the moment. So we hope it continues working. We have a lot of stuff we're going to try and pump out for Tucson using the laser. When the laser was down, we were really concerned about getting things ready for Tucson because we weren't sure what we were going to supplement, all the stuff we had planned. But it seems to be working out. So hopefully it's going to continue working out. And yeah, so I've been making tons. I'll show you these when we flip this around. I have them in a bag right now. But we've been making tons and tons of laser pendants, mostly all for your order. we went through, and I think I've created every pendant needed for every order up to this point. I peeled most of them. I peeled all of them, the rest of them today, and they are now ready to be shipped. So Barb was waiting for me for a lot of those to get the peeling done. So you should see your wooden pendant orders going out soon, as long as nothing is holding them up for any reason. So if you ordered those from our retirement sale, the AG wooden pendant retirement sale, they should be coming out to you very shortly. The retirement sale is still going on, but I did say once the laser is repaired and we get it working again, the retirement sale will be going away. So it will be going away very soon. I don't have a set date on that. I'm trying to let it open a little bit longer so that anybody who hasn't seen it yet, because we know that Facebook is not great at showing posts to anybody. So, and that's mainly where we show things. So we want to make sure that our people are seeing the retirement sale and are getting these before they're gone, because once they're gone, they're truly not, we're not making them again, not in any material, not in any way. So if you see anything in the AG pendant retirement sale, that's a collection on our website. You can scroll down past, you'll see all the collections, and then underneath that are the things we're highlighting right now. The retirement sale is one of them. And if you check out those pendants, there are, I think, nearly 50 different pendants that are going to be going away, never to be seen again. So if you've not checked them out, please do. I know that, some people think wooden pendants are, they're, it's been done, but these come around all the time. People have done these in the past. Now, a lot of people were doing them here for the last, few years, and they're still just as nice. They're super light, which makes them great for making light jewelry. And these are, paintable. You can embellish them. We have so many videos over the years that we've done on how to embellish and paint these. I know Cynthia has done videos on how to embellish and paint wood and metal. Some of our other friends also in the TGBE have done videos on how to paint and embellish wooden pendants, or wood in general, which will work for these. So I do hope you will grab yours before they are gone. There's a lot of good stuff in there. It's just stuff that we're kind of moving away from, and but you may have never seen it. So maybe there's nothing to move away from. Maybe you need to grab them now, because these are some of our older designs, and we're making room in our design collection for newer ones. So if you have not seen that sale, please check it out. There are some big pendants in there, like normally the dragon pendant. We're printing a lot of those. A lot of people are wanting the big dragon pendant. That dragon pendant is normally $10. And we put it on to make it easy, to make everything $6 with the discount code. Or mostly everything $6. We just set everything mostly at $8. So that came down in price. Anyway, you're getting an extra discount on some of those larger pendants. So I would grab them now. If you put them in your cart in the online store, when you hit checkout, it's going to automatically take the 25% discount. You get a 25% discount on that collection. Just that collection. Any other wooden pendants in our store don't count. But if they are in the retirement collection, they count. So grab them. Grab them, everybody. Get them for $6 each. It's a great deal. Some of those used to nearly wholesale at $6 each. So I hope you'll get them now. All right. So that's going on. We have last chance pendants in the online store. So we have a lot of pendants in the online store that only have one left, one in stock. And when you have, a lot of our stuff goes into bigger bags, whether it's small or big, so that we can write on them and we can keep track of inventory with the inventory numbers and all that stuff that we put on the bags. So we have a lot of bags that are have one tiny little silver charm in them, or one little, kind of pewter charm, or whatever it is. We have a lot of big bags and a lot of tiny single individual little charms. So if you have not gotten yours yet, use discount code LASTCHANCE, all one word, LASTCHANCE, last chance, and get 15% off those in the last chance pendant collection. So if it's in that collection, if you see it there, there's only one, and that last chance code will give you 15% off that one. These are not these are not damaged. These are not kind of scratch and dent kind of thing. These are new. These are fine. There's nothing wrong with them. There's just that there's only one left, and we have a lot of individual ones, and we'd like to move some of those out. I think there's over 100 in that collection. So that's a lot of little charms and a lot of big bags. So help us clear those out. Vanessa says, send you an email about the item that was in the Beads of the World video. I did see your email. I haven't gotten to it yet. But all of those items pretty much in there were mostly all requests. So I will have to check, and I'll check stock. I do think we have at least one more of the ones you wanted, those silver ones. So I will check that. I'll try and do that before I leave today so I don't forget about it, because we're closed tomorrow. We lost any of our store help for the most part. Jen is still with us to do classes, but we'll be closed tomorrow because I have my other job. So we'll go ahead and I'll try and grab that tonight. Just got an order. Thank you, whoever that was. I don't know who that was or what you were buying, but I appreciate it. And let's see here. Teresa says, can't wait to receive mine. Thank you. Susan says, yay, knock on wood for the laser working. Right. Amanda says, new stuff. Yes, queen, of course. Right, new stuff. Hello, Sandra. Thank you for tuning in with us. Suzanne says, it was me. Thank you so much. Let's see. I'm just taking a look. I want to see what you got. Ooh, you got that last chance cross. That's nice. I was wondering I think there's only one of those left. I was like, why is that even here? So I'm glad you grabbed it. Hello, Carmen. Thanks for tuning in. Susan says, I got my goodies today, started working on stuff. Nice. I'm glad you got them. We want everybody to get all their goodies, but Barb was out sick since Christmas Eve. And she just got back mid last week, I think. So we're working hard on trying to catch up. So I apologize for any delay, but we're working on it. We're getting stuff out as much as we can to everybody. And we focused on trying to get any type of African inspired or African beads that any of y'all ordered. I tried to have her push those out the door because I know you might want to use those with your TGBE kits if you got one. We're just trying to make sure everybody has what they need for the TGBE this weekend. So we prioritized those a little bit to get those out to people, and we're going back now and we're working on everything. First, we prioritized old stuff. That was most of last week, and then we prioritized the African beads, and now we're back to just trying to do things in the order they can get done. Hello, Michael. Haven't seen you in a while. Hope everything's going okay over there. Good to see you here. Thanks for tuning in. Marianne says, awesome. Barb will get it done ASAP. Yes, Barb is quick. Susan says, poor Barb. She has my sympathies with the sick. Yeah, she got really run down and went through a few different doctors, and wasn't COVID at all. There is a really bad cold / flu, whatever it is, going around. My mom got it earlier, just before the holidays, and she almost ended up with bronchitis, which was kind of scary. And a lot of people have been getting bronchitis around here, or walking pneumonia or something like that. So it's been bad. So be careful out there, everybody. Be careful. I'm getting to the point where if I go into big groups of people, I've been shopping late, go to the grocery store late at night, which works for us, but there's like no one there at the grocery store after like 7 o'clock. So that's when I go. Been trying to do any shopping late at night when no one's around. But if it gets too bad, I put my mask back on. I carry one in the car now just to have it, just in case. There's some nasty stuff, and you know what? A mask is going to help you no matter what, right? Doesn't have to be for COVID. A lot of countries wear them when they're feeling sick or when there's sick going around. Suzanne says, I can sympathize. Got a 24-hour bug this weekend. No fun. Sorry to hear that. That's no good. No good at all. But yeah, it's going around. Stuff is going around. And some stuff is quick and some stuff is long lasting. I just talked with someone who had COVID And they didn't get it really bad. They just got run down. They got the head cold kind of thing, but they were out for 10, 12 days. Thank you. We just got another order. Whoever that was, thank you so much. Just heard it. I love that sound. Marianne said something called RSV has been going around our schools just before Christmas. Yes, I've heard about that. I think that's around here too. I don't know. I don't know if it's the same thing, but I did hear about that up there. Maybe from you, maybe from someone else, maybe from reading. Can't keep track of where I hear anything anymore. But yeah, so there are nasty things going around, and they are not fun to have. So if you are around around a lot of people, keep yourself protected, whatever that takes. We don't want any of you to get too sick out there. No good, no good. We've recently lost a friend of ours to cancer, somebody from the beading world. Some of you may know her. And she was very good to us, and she really helped us at different times, and it's very sad. And while that's cancer and not, the sickness is going around, sick is sick. So keep yourself protected, keep yourself healthy. I take vitamins and minerals and things to try, not as much as I should, but I do try and keep myself healthy that way. And yeah, keep yourself protected. Cynthia says, I also love the sound of a sale, right? It's a good sound. It's a good sound. Student says, I have been sneezing a ridiculous amount. Needless to say, I still mask. Yeah, I've been having this weird thing. I don't feel sick. I feel tired, but I always feel tired between my thyroid and all the work we do and the late hours and weird hours that we pull. I'm pretty much tired all the time, and no caffeine. But I've been having this weird thing where I'm like slightly congested, and like this side of my nose will start running out of nowhere. I don't know why. I don't know what it is. But maybe it's something low key, but yeah, weird things out there. Let's see here. Bonnie says, hi, William. Started the book this weekend. How do you like it? It's a good book, right? I still need to finish that one. I got a little bit of time at least. I started listening to it on an audiobook. So for me, it shouldn't be too difficult to finish. I have a hard time sitting down with written word books anymore. I've lost a lot of patience. I never had a lot to begin with. That runs in my family. We don't have a lot of patience, especially my dad's side. And to sit down and do something, we're all kind of fidgeters, and it's hard to keep us contained a little bit. So reading has always been a difficult thing for me, even in my language classes. It was torture to try to read through foreign language books that I was just learning the language. It was hard enough to read English for me, but I do enjoy books. I just have a hard time sitting still. So audiobooks are good, and I can listen to them during some things that I work on, not everything. Andrew can listen to them most of the time with his work, but my brain starts to sometimes, depending on what I'm doing. So yeah, but I'll get through it too. I hope you like it though. I hope you like the book. Teresa said RSV is going around here on Long Island. See, it's insane. It's insane. Ronnie says, received notice. My order is on the way today. Lost track because I looked all over last night for the items. I must have a time reality problem. I have a time reality problem all the time. Don't even ask Andrew about it, because he could tell you. My mind is like a sieve right now. So I do something and I forgot I do it, or I think I did something and I didn't do it. If I had all the time condensed that I use to just double check myself, I'd have a lot of extra time in my life. So I get it. But yes, orders are going out again. I hope you all love what you get. Carmen says, maybe allergies. I was like that during Christmas. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know what's happening. But it's just this one side. And it's not, most of the time, it doesn't happen. But I could just be talking to someone and all of a sudden starts running. It's weird. It's weird, right? Marianne says, my nose runs all the time at work. You talk about being a little chilly there, though, right? That might be why. That might be why. Bonnie says, I'm listening too. Nice. Yeah, listening is sometimes the easiest way. My tiny cat's nickname is Fidget. That's cute. Yeah, my whole family, my dad's side of the family, we cannot be on the phone without either creating a little mini work of scribble art or pacing. Pacing is something we do a lot too. So I used to do scribble art. That used to be when I was sitting on the phone, but that's also when phones had cords and you couldn't go very far because I know some people had the long cords on their phones. We didn't. We always had a shorter cord. So I do the scribble art. Now that I have a cell phone, right, now I pace, and it drives Andrew crazy. If I'm on the phone, I'm pacing. That's the way it is. Excuse me. Which actually makes it a little difficult when I need to write something down from somebody telling me something on the phone, because I'm usually like halfway across the house and I have to run back to my desk to write something down. And we're fidgeters. We are. It's hard to keep not moving and, sit down. And my brother, I used to be much better. When I was in elementary school and high school, I would laugh at my brother because my brother, and my mom will tell this story, he could be like, she'd be sitting down and reading a book with him, and he would literally be upside down doing like headstands on the couch while she's trying to get him to read his book. And he's still a fidgeter, and he buys his kids, for Christmas, they got his kids a ton of just different fidget toys because they fidget too. So that's funny that your cat's name is Fidget. I could see a cat. That's a good name for a cat. Bonnie says, I'm wondering where it's going to go. Children protecting a fantasy land is not usually my jam, but I'm hoping it goes somewhere good. It's kind of cool. I think it's charming, and I like how they interact. And I believe by the end of it, they're pretty much grown adults, I think, by the end of the book. I haven't gotten to the end yet, but from what I understand. So yeah, it's about kids doing stuff, but they're doing things they kind of like doing, which is good. But but I like it. I think it's a cute book. Marion says, you haven't set a date for the Zoom version of Inspired by Reading. I think I need a deadline. We are planning on it very close. We do the last Sunday in every month for the in-person meetup, the last Sunday of every month. We will see. I don't know if Andrew's going to be in town the last Sunday of this month. What is the last Sunday? The 28th. No, that's February. See, I don't even know what day I'm at. The 22nd. The 22nd. I think Andrew will be in town for that. So it has to be around there. It has to be around there. I don't know. We have to think about it. Because the thing is once we set the date, it has to be the same every time. That's the plan. It's always going to be like the last Monday or the Monday following the last Sunday, or, we want to make it the same time all the time. That's the goal. It's not just for this month. So we got to really figure out and look at our calendar and when's going to be good for us, and when's not going to be too close to any of the other things that we do. So your deadline is going to be, just pretend you're coming in person, Marianne. Just pretend you're going to be here in person, and the last Sunday of the month is your deadline. How about that? Let's see here. Bonnie says, all friends, hope you feel better. Yes, everybody, get good, get feeling better. I'm just typing on my computer over here because I want to have this. So, because I forget the name of the author, because Cynthia asks, what book? What book? The book is In Other Lands by Sarah Rees Brennan. In Other Lands. And that link is on our website. If you go to the Groups and Clubs, I think it's called, Groups and Clubs tab, Clubs and Groups tab, actually, Clubs and Groups, alphabetical, Clubs and Groups tab, you will see the Inspired by Reading book list. And if you click on those links, they are Amazon affiliate links. We will make a little money off of them. Teresa's reading the book on her Kindle. Good. Thank you. Maybe you bought it from our Amazon link. That would be great. So yeah, lots of ways to read it, but that is the first book for January for our book club. Amanda says, got the book. Suzanne says, right before my birthday. Right before your birthday. Nice. I thought he said he was leaving on the 22nd. He might be. I don't know. We've just been changing dates around a little bit. We just finalized our hotel yesterday, last night. I think he wrote about that. So we finalized the hotel for Tucson. Now we gotta make the money to pay for the hotel for Tucson. So buy some stuff, everybody. Get some stuff in the online store right here. Hopefully you'll like the stuff I show you today, and we'll sell a lot of these because they're pretty inexpensive, I think, and we have a good quantity of them. So there's enough for a lot of people. So hopefully you'll all go out and grab those. Cindy says, I read it and enjoyed it. Yes, yes, it's a good book. I haven't finished it, but I'm getting there. So what else is on my list before we get into the show? Laser's working. I did that. Oh, January 20th. You remember what January 20th is, right? That's the Creative Make-Along. So the Creative Make-Along, that is for the first Allegory Gallery Design Challenge mix that we put out. That is the Pearl mix with the AG Fine Pewter toggle. So we will be designing with that on January 20th. All right, that is a Zoom meeting, and it will be broadcast to the Allegory Gallery Design Challenge group if you don't want to actually be in the Zoom meeting. But we hope that a lot of people will want to be in the Zoom meeting because it's a lot of fun to hang out and actually chat with each other while we're making stuff. But you can chat in the comments on Facebook as well, because we will stream into that group. But it's always fun when more people are there in person, talking and making stuff. I think it's a lot of fun. So hopefully you'll join us. Make sure it's on your calendar. If you have the bead in the New Year calendar, it's already marked on there. I think it says hang out with friends or something. I forget. I don't have my calendar right here, but it says something about get together with friends. And I put it on that date specifically. So if you have the PDF download calendar, you can just tap on that. And the link to the Zoom meeting is actually that link when you tap on it or click on it. So it'll take you right to there. No need to worry, where's the link? Where's the link? Just download the calendar and you'll have it. Otherwise, the link is in an event inside of the group. So you go to the group, you go to the events tab, then you find the event, then you go and it'll be in there for you. I try and bury it a little bit because our group is a public group. It is not a private group. You don't have to ask to join Allegory Gallery Design Challenges. You just join it. So that means anybody can join it. We get a lot of spam in there because of that. But we like the group to be open so that people, can see what's going on inside and also can determine if they want to be in it or not. But we may have to at some point close that up. We'll see. But I put the link to the Zoom meetings deep in there a little bit so that not just any spammer is going to come in and try and join the meeting, right? So that's that. We had a little bit of fun on Friday, late night Friday, doing a video on my Cricut Maker 3 machine. If you missed that, I think it was fun. I hope you had fun if you watched. If you didn't watch, I hope you'll watch it and have fun. But I was showing some of the things that we were making jewelry tags with the Cricut Maker 3. And the jewelry tags are something that, they can be expensive to buy, and you're kind of limited by whatever you can find. And with the Cricut, you can make your own in any shape, in any style, in any size that you want. So I took you through, I had just learned it that day, and I took you through what I learned and showed you how to do that. So I think that was fun. It was more of I called it a behind the scenes video more than, kind of a normal video. It kind of shows you, and I called it that because it literally was something I just learned. And it was kind of, okay, I learned this. I went through the process of learning it behind the scenes. And this is the first time we're actually using it to do something. And then I showed you. So it was kind of, kind of a little bit of insight. Normally I would want to, do it a bunch of times and to be polished and show you exactly. But it was a little bit, here and there. but I think it was still fun. And I think we'll do some more of those things as we can. So hopefully you like that. Marion says, I can't afford a Cricut, but I did buy a Sizzix Big Shot Plus bundle. Nice. Did you see Eileen Hurd, I believe that's right, is going to be in the TGBE. We have a guest appearance, a guest star in the TGBE. That was the big surprise that we were talking about. I forgot to mention it on Friday, which I should have, but there is going to be a guest in the TGBE, and she is going to show using her Sizzix to create Valentine's Day packaging ideas. So you'll want to tune in. Let me get her, Eileen Hall. That's it, Eileen Hall. Thank you. I was just about to, I got to go to the Great Bead Extravaganza. Eileen is going to be on Sunday at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Time. 5:45 p.m. Eastern Time. Eileen Hall. And she's going to show you some good stuff. EileenHall.com is her website. And we're excited to have a guest business in the TGBE this time around. And if people like it, maybe we'll keep doing it. So this gives you a little bit of a variety from the normal TGBE presenters, although I know you love us all. But, you know, adding a little bit of variety to the group I think is good. So we have a guest presenter, Eileen Hall, going to show you how to use a Sizzix to create some Valentine's packaging ideas with it. So that's going to be fun. That's going to be fun. I can't wait to tune in and see what she has in store for all of us. Carmen says, that's awesome. I follow her on her page. That's great. Yeah, so you're going to get to see her in the TGBE this time. So do be sure that you are tuning in to the TGBE this coming weekend. This weekend, everybody. This weekend. It's so crazy. It's so crazy that that's already here. I feel like we just did the last one. All right, enough of my talking. I went through all my notes on what I had to talk about before the main event. Marion says, oh, I hope guests will be a regular thing. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. If you all tune in and watch, that'll give the guests something to tell other people, hey, I got a lot of views on this. Maybe you should do it too. Of course, if people say, I got no views, no one else is going to want a guest. So hopefully you'll tune in and watch good, watch hard, watch long times for the TGBE this weekend. Watch us all. And if you can't see us during our regular slot, remember, they are all available to re-watch. I will say that again. They're all going to be available to re-watch. We get that question all the time, and it's true. You can rewatch any of the Great Bead Extravaganza. If you missed last year's any of them, if you missed the year before any of them, you can watch them all. They're all available for rewatch. And yeah, so hopefully you'll watch this time. All right. Diane says, I might actually get to watch this weekend. Nice. Nice. Bonnie says, variety is the spice, right? Carly says, awesome. Yeah, I'm excited for Eileen. I think it's going to be great. Okay, I'm going to flip the camera around here a little bit, and we're going to take a look at the latest design challenge mix for February. I know. What is this? Is this really allegory? Am I in the right place? We're doing February. We're ahead of the game. We're like shipping things in time and debuting them in time for you to get to work on in the right month. It's crazy. It's crazy, right? So we're going to show you. I have to laugh at myself sometimes. We're going to look at the design challenge mix. We are going to look at a new luxury bead blend that we have for you all, and these are all available at allegorygallery.com. I didn't actually check to make sure they showed up, so I hope they showed up. If you go into the latest editions, they are there. Yes, they are there. Amanda says, I love paper crafting. Can't wait to see. Nice. All right, so I'm going to flip this around, and we're going to get busy looking at some good stuff here today. Let me move this. Let me move this Amanda, I think I might be getting into paper crafting with my Cricut too. So I'm excited for that kind of thing. I want to see all the paper crafting. Okay, here we go. We got our nice blue here. I'm going to put this in here because this color corrects. There we go. See how like that looks almost green. And then look when you put this in here. Oh, it's blue. It's the right color. How about that? That's why I use this in a lot of our photos right now. If you don't know that, if you didn't notice that, or if you didn't, I don't know if I said that before, but it's always nice to find something when you're taking photos that will automatically kind of color correct and do the white balancing, at least minimally, so that when you are trying to do it in post-production, it makes it a lot easier. It makes it a lot easier. This is driftwood, Susan. Driftwood, super light, super light. We do have petrified wood that looks like this too. Terry says, bought the design challenge mix for February. You already got one? That's awesome. Thank you. Maybe that was you sending in that last order, and it was. Thank you so much. Let's see. Marianne says, when blackish green to blue. Amazing, right? There. So if I took a picture of something on this right now, other than my hand, which white balances something, but if I put something in here, it's going to look too yellow because it added that kind of yellow cast. So it's making the blue look green. Yellow and blue make green, right? And it's making the white look yellow. And when if I would take a picture of this, for example, right now, look at the business tips, everybody, photography tips. If I took a picture of this right now, I would have to really make sure my white balance was good and was adjusted to bring that back into the right color. So that what white balancing does is it adds yellow or takes it away, adds green. I think it's green to your photos, so that right now there's too much yellow. So to white balance this back to white, I would have to take out the yellow. So when I add this though, look how much that is. And that pendant actually looks, if I took a picture of that right now, I'd barely have to do any white balancing at all, because it looks like the color that it is. So one of the biggest things I see when people do food photos is they don't white balance the food. And the food ends up having this yellow cast most of the time, because most lights in restaurants are going to be those warm, like I have here in the store, those warm lights that make everything a little bit yellow. So that's white balancing. Anyway, tips you probably never wanted to know, but I'm making you listen to them. Sorry about that. I'm going to tell you whether you ask or not, right? I'm going to tell you whether you ask for it or not. So let me get one of my bowls. And right now I'm going to pull out the design challenge mix for February, which is, it was pearls in January, and today it's amethyst. Lots and lots of beautiful amethyst. So this is an amethyst mix. Beautiful, beautiful amethyst. It's all amethyst in here. So they're just different sizes of stones. They're all beads, by the way. So they're all drilled, or should be. I think they all came off of various strands. So, excuse me. There's even some really nice faceted ones in here. These you get one of these in your package. These are high end. Those are nice. There's some darker ones too. I don't know if I have any in this one. But there's some rounds. There's some smooth pebbles, some faceted ones. So again, the way these mixes are made, and this goes for both of these mixes, what you will see is in the description of these, we often put what the mix initially, you'll see those words, initially contains. And I use that a lot now, because what happens is we mix these in these giant bins, and the mix gets mixed. Andrew puts it all together and mixes everything around. And then we scoop them, and we scoop them in a very particular way. We scoop them from the top layer first, and we fill up each bag halfway. So they come in a 2x3 bag. This is what you get in a 2x3 bag, about that much. We fill them up halfway with the top layer, which is always the big beads, right? The big beads sit on top. And then the tiny and small beads float to the bottom. So then we fill each bag halfway. Then we go back through and scoop from the bottom, or what is now the top, because we've taken the top layer off, and fill up the bags. So that way you're sure to get a good mix of both big beads and little beads. If we didn't do it that way, the first bags we made would be full of only big beads, and that would slowly transition to the very last bags being just full of little beads. And I think Cynthia actually taught Andrew that, or had Andrew do it that way when she was making more mixes and things. And so he learned that and has pushed that on to all of us. He has shown us all how to do that using that method. And it works really well to make sure that you get a good mix in your bead bags. Carly says, helpful tips, thanks. Teresa says, it helps us to take better pictures of our jewelry. Oh, good. Marian says, that tip is great for our own jewelry photos. I have used different colors of cardstock so the photo looks more like the real piece. Yeah, you can use different cardstock. Your background matters a lot. A lot of people take pictures on white paper, and generally, white paper is not the best. It's easy to white balance against. So if you are going to take a picture of something on white paper, you do generally have to white balance it, but it's easy because you can just select the paper as the white balance target, and in a lot of apps. So that makes it easy sometimes, but white is actually sometimes a tricky thing to get right. So that's using different cardstock, Marian. That's a good idea too, because you can change the color of your background. Certain backgrounds will give certain things better colors and truer colors without having to go through the white balancing thing. So this is a design challenge mix, y'all. So that means it comes with an AG fine pewter component, and this time it's this AG fine pewter curls toggle in antique gold. And I don't know if you can see this. Hopefully you can see it okay. It has all these little curls in it lined up. And so the whole thing with this is we were thinking, okay, you know, things have been crazy right now, right? Things have been wild, and life has just been difficult. And over the past few years, whether you're dealing with people in person or people online, things have gotten sometimes upsetting, sometimes very tumultuous, sometimes, you know, there have been good points too, but it's just been a little all over the place. So amethyst is a stone that is supposed to ward against negative energies. It's supposed to be calming. It's supposed to produce an uncluttered mind. And we thought that amethyst here in the first part of 2023, you know, we need that calm. We need to enter this year with this calm spirit and an uncluttered mind. Amethyst comes from the Greek word for meaning not intoxicated. So they used to believe that amethyst, if you drank from an amethyst cup or had amethyst on, you would not get drunk. And what is drunk? It is a cluttered mind. It is a mind that doesn't process things as well. And so the idea that amethyst can ward away all this negative energy is, I think, very good and great for 2023. Let's go into it with some protection. It also, I have people who put amethyst under their pillow or large chunks under the bed, and it helps them sleep. I've known people who have taken many different kinds of drugs to sleep, and it never worked. They put amethyst under their pillow, and they fall asleep just fine. Now, whether you believe in all that stone, you know, the stone properties and whatever, I can only go with what people tell me. And it works for some people I know. Marion says, yes, it is the February birthstone. That's my birth month, February. Amethyst is my stone. So yes, it lines up perfectly with that as well. But it also, you know, not only is it the birthstone, but it does have hopefully some of those anti-craziness, vibes. And then this, I picked out the curl toggle, because if you can see here, there's all these little squirrely, they look like my telephone art, as we were talking about before. So, these little curls that are in here, if they were not contained, that can be tumultuous too, right? That can be very, curls and swirls, and you feel like you're in, like, I don't know, it feels like you're in the clothing washer, right? In the clothes washer or clothes dryer, spinning around or being bumped around. And the fact that these are like lined up, it kind of fit with the idea that I think we're trying to go with here, is that, these could be crazy, but they're put in order, right? So let's put our crazy life in order a little bit. And so that's where the amethyst and the curls toggle come in. And of course, the gold looks great with amethyst. Of course, you can use silver if you have your own beads and things and you want to add to it, of course. But gold just seems like gold stands out with the purple. It looks really good. So if you don't design with gold very often, maybe give it a try. Cindy says, I like the color of the bead blend, right? That beautiful, beautiful purple color. All real amethyst. It's all amethyst in there. It's a whole gemstone luxury bead blend in amethyst, made with the toggle, which makes it now a design challenge mix. And if you're like, what is a design challenge mix? If you missed that presentation or missed January's, excuse me, we do still have some from January. It's a beautiful mix of pearls, both freshwater and glass pearls are in there. And it comes with a beautiful, I believe it's an antique silver toggle. So you can find those in our online store if you want. But the idea behind this is we do design challenge kits, and with the economy and how prices are going up, design challenge kits, if we were to do them these days, and we still might, but if we were to do them, they would be probably twice the price that they used to be. And they used to be like in the $30 range, in the high 30s sometimes. So trying to double that now with the prices, we know that not everybody, some of y'all would be fine, but we know not everyone can afford that every month. And so we created these design challenge mixes, and it's a mix of a bead blend with an Allegory Gallery fine pewter toggle. These do have a reveal date and a creative make-along date. So the creative make-along date for this one will be Friday, February 17th. All right, Friday, February 17th. And that is in the product listing for this. So you can put that on your calendar. I have not made the Zoom event yet, but I will. I will soon. Lorraine says, pretty toggle. Did I say that already? I don't think so. Maybe. Thank you anyway. Harry says, hello, William and all. I got some beautiful red and blue African beads today. I love them. Nice. I'm glad they arrived. I'm glad you got them. Wanted to make sure those African beads went out for the TGBE this weekend and everybody was getting them. Harry says, I keep a large amethyst point on my desk. Yes, it's good for concentration, good for keeping the negative vibes away. Marion says, or we could let the chaos reign. You could continue to let chaos reign if that's what you want to do. I'm trying to not. I'm trying to rein all that in a little bit. Marion says, my inner metalhead coming out, right? So this is the design challenge mix for February 2023. It is amethyst. The first one was pearls. There are still pearls available if you'd like them. We do have a number of these available, and these are, I believe, $20 in the online store. My computer just went dead. Of course it did. In the middle of the live. So let's see here. And my iPad's dead. You can tell. I've been using my devices and not been at my desk too often. So I think these are 20. If I'm not mistaken. So you can get those in the online store right now, allegorygallery.com. Go to the latest items collection. So if you click on the shop tab, latest items or latest editions is the very first thing. So go ahead and click on that and you can order these. And hopefully you will love them as much as we do. I love amethyst. We have a number of these available. So they're probably, Terry says, yes, it's 20. Thank you. Susan says, too much chaos here if you follow the news. Everyone keep the amethyst close at hand, right? So go out, go out and get that amethyst and get it now and get it on the way to you. We'll be working with that coming up, February 17th, y'all. Okay, so there's that. Now, we also have a luxury bead blend called Painted Desert. We're heading to Tucson. Of course, the desert is on our mind. I don't get to see it very often. I like the desert. Andrew loves the desert. He loves going out to Tucson. He loves being in the desert. Maybe the dryness is kind of okay for a while. But that, that little sand blasting you kind of get being in the desert sometimes, that's not so great. But it is a beautiful place. And Andrew loves going. He loves doing hikes and things there. So this is Painted Desert. And there's a lot in Painted Desert. There's some things in here I think that I didn't even list. Here's some ceramic beads. So there's ceramic beads, there's jasper, there's orange aventurine, there's carnelian, check glass, vintage check glass. There's a lot in these. And you get a 2x3 bag of this. I think it's $18 in the online store. I love these little bumpy beads. I forget what they're called. Sugar beads, I think, maybe. Is that right? They look like they have a sugar coating on them. There's a sale. Thank you so much. I hear the sale sign, the sale bell. Let's give more angels some wings, right? Like give us wings to Tucson. And you'll get some Hamilton gold pieces. And lots of glass. Well, check glass, vintage check glass. I think I said that. There's like, in this one, there's one of those little flowers. I think this is orange aventurine in here. There's some amethyst, I believe. I'm trying to go through. Of course, there's some foil glass as well. So there's some foil glass in there. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. I love these little round, these little smooth rondelles, and these ones too. So lots of stuff in there available right now in the store, allegorygallery.com. I think these are great. A lot of these would be great mixed in with some of the African beads. So if you've got the African bead kit, I think these would be really nice mixed in. And these are only $18 for a mix, which I think is a good deal. You get a 2x3 bag of the mix, lots of good stuff in there. And yeah, so, and that's the thing, like our mixes used to be like, I think $10 was the top of the line, sometimes $12. Now, unfortunately, we have to go up a little bit, but we're trying to pack great stuff in there for you all for that price. So Andrew combs through all his stuff. There's a lot of different size things in here, different shapes. So that's a lovely little mix. And like I said, you're going to get the 2x3 bag of it. And we scoop these the exact same way that I was talking before. So we scoop from the top to get the big stuff. So you'll see some of the big stuff in there, but you also see some of the little stuff in there too. And that's from the bottom. All right. So again, you may not get everything. There's a lot of stuff, so you're probably going to get a good bit of it. Some of these bags may not have like the Hamilton gold piece, for example, or, may not have amethyst, but you're going to get a lot. You're going to get a lot. You're going to get most of it. Marion says, such a pretty desert, right? Sherry says, beautiful mix. Cindy says, that gold orange would look good with that blue mix. Yeah, you could also put it with the amethyst, right? Put it with the amethyst. That would be pretty. I like those colors together. We got a lot of excuse me, we got a lot of kits in the online store as well. Make sure you check out the Allegory Gallery kit collection because there are a lot of kits, and these are the luxury bead blends are a great way to make those kits reach longer, right? The inspiration kits are small kits. They're just meant to give you a little boost of inspiration, but if you combine them with a luxury bead blend, that in itself is almost making a design challenge kit because some of those inspiration kits are big. So if you join some of those with some of these, you can make those go even further and add to them. So sorry, everybody, I keep choking. So please do look around and mix and match in the online store. Remember, Last Chance pendant collection. Those pendants are 15% off using discount code Last Chance. So you could get this, you could get a inspiration kit, and you could get a pendant and get 15% off the pendant, and you'll have enough to make a necklace or a bracelet, probably a few. All right. So those are available now in the online store. And the last thing I want to show you today are Andrew's latest paintings. These are available in the online store as well. They went up over the weekend, and I hope you really like them. I love them so much. I love them so much. Here's one. And, let me see. Hold on. Let me see if I can get my plug out and get things plugged in here a little bit. Oh, I can use this. Let's use this. Because I want to make sure I get the names of these right. That's my goal here. Here we go. Okay. So this is Delphine. This is Delphine. All right. So this is Delphine. I love Delphine. Delphine doesn't show any specific kind of, because these are called portraits from the other side. And so portraits from the other side generally have, some kind of fantasy or power or, fantasy thing about them. She doesn't really show much, but I like that. I like that. So this is Delphine. These are all $125 only, $125. And that, I don't know if that's throwing off the color now, but there's a lot of work in each of these. They're on wood. They're on 4x4. They're a 4x4 square on wood. There's the back. These will be signed before they go out. He just hasn't done that yet. Bonnie says, does he use models or are they from his imagination? Most of them, I would say, are probably from his imagination, honestly. I think he does, Andrew looks at a lot of stuff. And, there was a good quote, and I forget what it was. We've been watching this show, which we finished, called The Craftsman. And it's Blue Ox, I forget what it is, woodworking or something like that, in Eureka, California. And just kind of fell in love with the guy who runs it, and just his way about him and the things he's learned. He's in his 70s, I think. And just, really love that. And I think it was on there. There was a good, there was a good quote about how you have to, you take in a lot of things, and a lot of your time is spent looking at things before you put them into action and just learning. I don't know if it was from there or something I read, but anyway, very good show if you've not watched it already, The Craftsman. And it's on, I think, HBO Max. Anne says, I always like Andrew's work, but this portrait series particularly spoke to me. Yeah, thank you. I know you grabbed one. And I'm going to show it even though it's gone, just to show you. Sandra, gotta run, time for cat trimming claws. And friend is helping me out with that. Well, have fun. Good luck with that. Andrew trims ours. We taught ours from a young babies to get their claws trimmed. So we do it ourselves too. But luckily, Andrew does that mostly, and they sit very well for him most of the time. So good luck. I hope it works out. Swaddle them like a baby with a towel if you need to. And says, I think Hearn is kind of reminiscent of you, William. Maybe. Of course, everyone says that every time Andrew does a guy. But this one probably, because he's more pale, I could see that, and has kind of blondish hair. I could definitely see that. So this is Delphine, and I love Delphine. This is one of my very favorite. Maybe it's because she's wearing green. I don't know. But I like her nose. I like her face. I like how she's just there. Like, she's just there by herself, and she's not afraid to look you right in the eye. I really like that. So that's Delphine. Next up, we have Aurora. This is Aurora. And if you can see these beautiful iridescents that are in Aurora's hair, like it looks good this way, but as the light moves, if it's on your wall or throughout the day, you'll see different things pop out, right? Teresa says, I watched that show, loved it, right? It's a great show. It's a great show. Vanessa says, that is my favorite. Which one? Aurora or Delphine? Marion says, Aurora is my favorite. This one. This is Aurora right here. Yeah, I like Aurora too. But look at that hair. Look at that iridescence. Susan says, had to see tonight's sunset. It was gorgeous. That's good. I haven't seen many sunsets around here. I guess maybe I'm just not out around in time, but I haven't seen many like super nice winter sunsets. But some people are showing pictures of them, so they have to be happening close to us anyway. So that is Aurora. And Aurora, these are all $125 only. Small scale artwork from Andrew Thornton Artist on Instagram or Facebook if you want to follow his business page and see what he gets up to with his art. Some of the art makes it into our store, and some of it he ends up going into galleries or displays or competitions. So follow Andrew Thornton Artist on Instagram and Facebook to not miss out on the things that he does. All right, here's Hearn that Anne was talking about, looking like me. This is Hearn. And see, that's one thing. Hold Hearn, you see it like this, you don't see much. Move it up and you start to see all these kind of, whether you want to call them tattoos, what kind of markings they are. But when you hold it in certain lights, you don't see them much at all. And then you show them. And I don't even know, you can't even see them in the photo I took. It was very hard to try to get that. So even in the photo that I try and do my best job, you know, you're seeing them better here in the video than, see, the photo kind of looks like this, and you don't see all this imagery on his chest, arms, and neck. Jody says his hairstyle reminds me of you. Yeah, right, just wild hair. Susan said there is a resemblance. Marion says that's because you were doing lives or working at sunset. Yep, I barely see the sunsets. And the days are starting to get a little bit longer. So it used to be I'd see them right before the live, and now they're kind of happening during the live. Bonnie says, that's my favorite. My two boys had blonde hair when they were younger, right? I love this one. Hearn. Andrew doesn't paint a lot of guys generally. So a lot of his paintings are women. So when he does guys, I'm always interested to see what comes out. I really like this one. Of course, the background's green, so it's one of my favorites because I like the green. It's the only green one, actually, that he's done so far. So right now, I think these two are some of my favorites because they have the green, but also just because I really like them. Hearn looks like he's giving like side eye a little bit, like constant side eye. I don't know. I think it's charming. So there's that. All right, and this one is sold, Mariella. This one is sold, but I want to show it anyway, just so you can see Mariella. Bonnie says there is a stare in the eyes of these characters, right? They mean business, some of them, right? Portraits from the other side. Maybe they didn't realize their portrait was being taken and they got caught. I don't know. But I love this one too. There aren't any of these I don't like. So Marianne says, I also love Her and the Hunter. Yep. Yep. So this is Mariella. I'm not going to show her too long because she has been adopted. She has been adopted. Found her permanent home. This is Evangeline. Evangeline. Evangeline almost looks a little bit angry to me. She's got some stuff to do and she's got to get it done. That's what it reminds me of. But look at those wings. Look at those wings. She's about to get some stuff done with those beautiful wings. Teresa says, I love the goldfish necklace. Yeah, Mariella has that beautiful goldfish necklace. So this is Evangeline. Susan says, I like her, right? Evangeline, like I said, she's got to get some stuff done. She's not afraid to do it either. That's what I get from her persona. She got stuff to do and she ain't afraid to do it. So that's Evangeline. 2 more to go. Next up. Sorry. This is Gabriella. Gabriella. Hello, Cindy. Happy New Year. Good to see you here again. We're just going through some of Andrew's art. We already debuted a design challenge mix, as well as a new luxury bead blend. So if you missed those, be sure to check them out. Be sure to check those out in the online store, or you could rewind this video if you're on YouTube, or wait till it's done on Facebook. Susan says she's like a character from a Marvel movie. Could be, right? This is Gabriella. These are all from the series Portraits from the Other Side by Andrew Thornton. Norma says Gabriella is my favorite. Or, yeah, Gabriella is my favorite. Yeah, I like her too. She's got those beautiful wings. She doesn't look as angry. She doesn't look as angry as Evangeline. Hopefully Evangeline's not angry at Gabriella. I don't know. But those are the 2 with wings. The 2 with wings. At least wings on their back, right? All right. And last, but certainly not least, at least last for now, last that I have, Andrew's working on more of these, I believe. This is Penelope. Penelope. And I love this fire crown and these bee's wings and this bee outfit. This is Penelope, Portraits from the Other Side by Andrew Thornton. Susan says Evangeline's ready to kick butt, right? I know. She's had enough. Evangeline has had enough, and she's ready to sort it out. Penelope is beautiful, says Susan. I think so too. I think Penelope has like a quiet coolness to her. Like she's going to get upset if she has to, and she's going to get the flaming crown here going on. But people know when she's upset, and she knows, right? She doesn't have to say much. She just gives you that look. That's what I see with her. Anne says, Penelope is the first one I saw. I fell in love, and then they just kept coming, each as good as the next, right? Yeah, I love this one too. She has a very, Susan says, queenly grace. Exactly. She's a very quiet, calm, and I think quiet anger about her. Like she's just going to keep calm. She's gonna get stuff done, but she's gonna keep calm. The queenly grace, exactly. So that is Penelope. So these are each $125 only, which is not a lot of money for the amount of time and work that goes into each of these. First, Andrew takes the wood and creates the background on the wood. And each of these backgrounds are different. So the background is done, and then it's let to dry. And then he usually comes back and does another layer on the background as well to kind of finesse it. And then the paintings are put down on top of that. The people, the portraits are put down on top of that. So there you go. So this is Portraits from the Other Side by Andrew Thornton. And I'm going to lay these out here. Let me take the banner away so it's not as much in the way. These are the ones currently still available. As I said, Mariella was sold, but these ones right now are currently available in the online store. See, they're not the right color, but there you go. I need this in the frame somewhere. See if that helps. It's not enough. But yeah, so these are available now in the online store. If you'd like to grab those. That will help us on our way to Tucson and to pay our hotel bill for Tucson, which is quite a lot. Quite a lot, everybody. Andrew got the best deal he could, but it's not inexpensive. It's not inexpensive. So there you go. Small scale artwork by Andrew. And you know, that's the thing, is that Andrew does a lot of small scale artwork. I'm going to flip this around real quick so I can talk with you just a little bit before we go. Vanessa says they are absolutely beautiful all together, right? They are. They look good. So Andrew does a lot of small scale artwork. And a lot of times the reason he does small scale artwork is to make it affordable for everyone. And we still have some of the fruit collection available, the Strange Harvest. And those are $75. They're a little bit bigger, but they're work-wise and painting-wise, they're a little bit less work than these. So even though these are smaller, there's a lot more that goes into them. And you can probably see that. But he always tries to make sure that his collections are relatively inexpensive, you know, priced that, you know, even if you have to work a little bit to afford it, you could still, it's attainable. Now, there are a lot of people out on Instagram who would sell, you know, would sell something like these for like $300 or $400. And that's no lie. We follow a lot of people, and a lot of people do these miniature paintings, and they are not, you know, they are not inexpensive. For some of you, $300 or $400 isn't a lot either. But for a lot of us, that's not something that, you know, we're going to be able to put aside easily. So Andrew tries to make sure these are $125. Really, they should be more, but he tries really hard to make sure that they are as attainable as possible. So hopefully you like them. Hopefully they all find homes. But they will be here in store if you want to come in to see them. If you are local, and this is not something we talk about on these lives very much, because I always think maybe local people don't watch here, they just stop in. But I think we do have local people who watch. And if you are local, stop by the store, because a lot of this stuff, the artwork that Andrew is making is in the store, even though it's in the online store for sale. We don't do a lot of crossover like that because it gets messy. But with Andrew's artwork, we like to put it on the art wall and have it around the store so that people who come in can actually see it in person, because there is nothing like seeing them in person, right? We try and do these videos, we try and take the best pictures we can, but there's nothing like in person. So if you are local, please stop by. Even if you don't make jewelry, there's a lot of other things in our store to look at. So we are a gallery, we have art, we have home goods in like we have candles, we have some glassware, some things like little trays and knickknacks and things like that you can set around. We have beads, of course. We sell gemstones. We teach classes on how to make jewelry. So if anyone in your family wants to learn, come on in. A lot of good things. Classes are most Fridays from noon to 4. Let's see here. Susan says, yes, I bought one of the Gold Heart series last year as a birthday present to myself. It is a place of honor in our library room. Thank you. Yeah, he always tries. He always tries. Lorraine says, they are all wonderful. Teresa says, I saw an artist sell a 4x4 painting for $600. Yeah, and it's not unusual. It's not unusual anymore. And it shouldn't be. I'm not saying that it should be, because artists should get what they are worth, right? And for decades or centuries, many artists have not been getting what they're worth. And, they don't make money on the time put into things. So if Andrew wanted to price these at $600, I would be like, all right, if that's what it's worth, that's what we need to do. But he's very, he sells things for a lot less than other people. Like, this is a lot of work. Before you do the background, and before you have to do all the background work, you have to do all the foreground, all the portraiture, you have to get everything right. It takes hours and hours and hours and hours of time. So, excuse me. So, at $125 each, I think they're a really good deal. And I think they're still attainable, even if you have to, we have payment plans in the online store, so you can break it down into multiple payments with Shop Pay. And we have that on our invoices as well with Afterpay, that you can break things down. So if you need to do that, it's there for you and a way to do that. But I still think they're attainable for most people. I think most people, I know $125 it's a lot for us too. When I spend $125 on something, it has to be something I really want, but they're worth it. And that's what I'm trying to get across, is that, there are a lot of artists that charge, $300, $400, even $600 for something like this in this size. And that's okay, because that's what their time's worth. But Andrew, he tries to make sure that there's something for everyone, and that the possibility of affording art is not far removed from anyone. So that's what it's about. And that's why when you look at them and you're like, why are they only 125? Like, shouldn't they be more? They should, probably, but that's what he set them at. Bonnie says, thanks for sharing them. I'm a painter and I never sell them. It's very hard to part with them. Yes. I think sometimes, like, Andrew paints things and sends them off. I don't know. He doesn't like to have a lot of his own stuff hanging around him. Even though I'm sure that in a lot of ways these are dear to him, but I don't think he likes to look at his own stuff. He would rather have other people's stuff around him. I like to keep his stuff. So my office has mostly Andrew's paintings in it. And if they don't sell, they just hang out there until they do, or until we remove them online and they don't go anywhere. They go in the vault, which is my office sometimes. Does Shop Pay work for Canadians, though? I think it's set up for Canadians. I'm pretty sure. Shopify is a Canadian company. So I think Canada and the US, I think Shop Pay works. I'm pretty sure. You'd have to check it from there, because I don't know. But I'm pretty sure if you put something in over $75 in your cart, it should come up with the option to break those down into payments. And if not, Marianne, if there's something you want, I'm pretty sure Afterpay with our invoicing does. So if I have to move something out of the online store to the in-store and send it that way, we can make that work too. Because I think I send out most invoices with that option. So if you've paid one of our invoices lately, you can know if that option for Afterpay has come up for you. But there are two different ways of doing it. And I think they're both supposed to work for Canada. So I think they're both supposed to work. I thought they both worked in Canada and Mexico and the US. I thought. Andrew says, I took a nap and missed everything. Andrew just joined us. Bonnie says, I give them away to friends and family if it speaks to them. Yeah, that's a good thing to do, right? Yeah, it's hard sometimes, but but and that's the thing, is whatever an artist feels they need to charge for their work, that's what they should charge, right? And that's what it should be. Andrew likes to make sure that things are attainable for a lot of people. I love this detail that you barely see, and it couldn't even get it in the photo because you have to take a photo like this pretty much for the light on it. So when you look at it straight up, you don't see those kind of hidden tattoo type things on there, which I love that one. Then it says, sorry, I don't know about the Afterpay option. I'll try it and email if it doesn't work. Yeah, try it. Email us if it doesn't work for you, and we can move anything in. And I think Afterpay works, because I'm pretty sure when we turned it on, it told us that it would work for Canadians. It's one of the reasons we chose it. Ronnie says, every time you place the series painting out as a group, I always think they would make a gorgeous jigsaw puzzle, right? Probably would. Probably would. One of the artists here in town, she's a photographer, and she does jigsaw puzzles. She has them made of her artwork, and I think that's such a cool thing. I'd love to have jigsaw puzzles of stuff like that, but I don't know if anybody would buy those or not. Andrew said we watched a show called The Craft. We were talking about The Craftsman, and he said something that really struck me: an honest day's work for an honest day's work for an honest day's work. Yeah. So what he meant by that is that anyone's honest day's work is equal to anyone else's honest day's work, right? If you put in an honest day's, work, then anybody else who's doing the same thing, no matter what subject they're working in, no matter what kind of area they're working in, an honest day's work is equal to an honest day's work, right? And so really great show. The Craftsman, 2 seasons of it. There's definitely a difference in the seasons. You can tell the first season is a little bit less organized. It's a little bit less, and I kind of like the first season a little bit better, but it really gives you a glimpse into him and how he thinks and what's gone on with them through their whole lives, with his 2 daughters and his wife, Viviana. It's really cool. It's really cool. Andrew said, of course, they almost went bankrupt. They did go bankrupt. They literally went bankrupt. And that saved them from foreclosure. It's all the things that you worry about. Like, I am deathly worried about, going bankrupt or, not having money in the account. And that makes me insane. With my anxiety, makes me insane. And I can't imagine what it's like when somebody starts going through that. But he talks about in the show, and I don't want to ruin too much of it because I want you all to watch it if you want, but he talks about how he was one day from foreclosure. And he says, not the beginning of foreclosure, one day from actual everything being gone, everything they worked for. And so they filed bankruptcy, and it saved them from having everything taken, and they started again. And, that's some people look at bankruptcy as the easy way out. That is not an easy thing to go through. I've known people who have had to do it, whether it's been because of medical bills or you don't know why somebody has to do it, right? And it's one of those things that to see somebody who is still able to pull things back and restart their whole life again and their business again and make something of it after that is pretty amazing. And so, I try and now that I've seen that and, more and more things that add up in your head, I'm like, okay, don't worry so much. There are things to do. As Andrew says, we got a lot of stuff we can sell. So I'm trying to keep my anxiety down when things get crazy stressful like they are now with low sales and and things like that, and just trying to keep a clear head and a happiness to me a little bit more. Marion says, I have to see if I can find it to watch. Yeah, it's on HBO Max. If you stream that, I think that's what it's on. Andrew says, that's true. Don't be anxious. I wish it were that easy. I wish you could be, okay, not anxious anymore. That would be amazing. If they had a pill that got rid of it just take one pill, get rid. I'd be like, how much do I have to sell to make that pill happen? But I guess in the selling, in the selling to make the money for that pill, I would just be making money, which would help me anyway, right? So there's something to that. Teresa says, I love the trolley car he did. Yeah, wasn't that great? And then he had to redo it, which I'm like, if you got a trolley car from somebody, you better take good care of it. But Anyway, he redid it and it was great. Marianne says, having been a bankrupt at one time, it really wasn't so bad. Not that it was enjoyable either. Yeah, like I've known people who are, and in the US here, it generally bankruptcy I think stays for 7 years and then you're clear. And I'm like, well, if I had to do it, I'd still have some life in me after all that. But yeah, I try to be like, it's mainly the fear of failure is really what happens to me mostly. I've been very lucky in life, or maybe just well raised and worked hard, but I've generally not failed at a lot, except things, I guess maybe I failed at things that I don't consider failures, which is the whole point maybe, that you don't consider a failure, it's just a lesson. Because I'm sure there's a lot of stuff I learned a lot of lessons about. So maybe I don't really look at failures as failures actually, unless it's in my head and just a fear of it, because I don't really think I failed it a lot. Andrew might have different ideas on that. I don't know, but I just look at them as lessons, and maybe that's the whole thing, is trying to realize that I'm afraid of something that isn't something that I even look at that way. Anyway, I'm getting philosophical about my own self, and y'all don't probably want to hear that. Bonnie says, one of the artists I know makes her art into puzzles for sale. There are companies that will do it. Yeah, there's a few, and there are a few that tie into our online store. So I've been looking at that lately as it's not just puzzles. Like they do t-shirts and they do print on demand stuff, and it's stuff that would be tied right into our online store. You would purchase through us, but it would go through another company and be shipped to you that way. And they do puzzles and they do all different things like Society 6 does. So I'm looking into that. It's messy, and I don't really have the time right now to look into it too hard, but I'm going to look deeper into it when we get a moment and see if that's something that we can tie into our store. Because I think that would be nice to be able to do some of that kind of stuff. Bonnie says, me too, William. Andrew says, we're all a work in progress, right? And that's the thing. Like, as long as you don't want to finalize that work, right? Because that means you're gone. So yeah, I guess allow ourselves to be a work in progress. Marianne says, the law is 7 years, but it may not take quite that long in reality. That's what I figured, right? Because that's the thing with bankruptcy, I guess. Like, there's always a company generally that's going to give you a credit card, even if it's crazy high interest, that you can start rebuilding yourself with, or, there's generally ways to do things. So I'm trying to not let myself get crazy. But it doesn't always work. Bonnie says, sometimes my cooking is a failure, right? Sometimes it happens. Sometimes you just make something that's not quite great. And yeah, I do a lot of things that aren't quite great. But, I don't really consider things too much of a failure, generally. They're a lesson. I got to think about that in my own head, because I do have a fear of failure. I have a fear of what people will think. Here we are. It's like therapy session with William. I do have a fear, and probably a lot of us do, which I think is why a lot of people don't take pictures of themselves in their jewelry, or they're afraid of connecting themselves with what they did because of how it might reflect on people, or other people might say something about it. So I think that's kind of my thing, is that I worry about what people would say, even though I don't know what people would say. And do I really care? Has it really impacted me that much what anyone in my life has ever said? In some way, if they're close to me, yes. But otherwise, no. Most people have been super supportive no matter what. Let's see here. Andrew says, we do Society 6, and I like it in theory, but unless you're super popular, you only make pennies on the dollar. It's true. So we have our Society 6 page, and Andrew has a lot of stuff in there, but he hasn't added to it mostly lately because we don't make a lot off of it. And when they have a sale, we make even less. And so we're trying to find a way. That's what led me to try to find a way to, because there are some plugins to our shop that work with some other people that allow us to tie it directly in, as if you could load it in your cart the same way. You don't have to go to another site, which sometimes finding Andrew's Society 6 site, if you don't have a link from us, is not easy. Society 6, I feel like it's hard to find artists or hard to find companies because they want you to type in something and just find everything. So we're working on it. We're working on it. Susan says, Bonnie, that's relatable. The food failures. Marion says, I don't know anyone who hasn't had a cooking failure, right? Let's see here. All right. Okay, so, I think that's it. I think I went over everything. I will be going home to eat, and then I and maybe Andrew will be going over to the cottage to work on some things. We're working on some enamel stuff for Tucson, so we got to get that going and see what happens. Andrew says, my brother is very talented, but he generally won't put himself out there because he has this illusion that he has to be a master to be worthy. Yeah, I mean, and when I see him do that, because I know how good his work is, to me, it's like a master's work already. And that's the thing is that, and I think the guy in The Craftsman talks about this, like, he doesn't consider himself a master because to be a master, you're pretty much like, you've done it all. You're done. There's nothing more to do if you're the master, right? There's nothing more to do. You're dead. Like there's no improvement to make. There's no, and he says, I don't want to be a master of anything. He says, I want to continue learning and I want to continue growing. And I think that's the thing is that, when do you ever get to the point that you would consider yourself a master of something? Because if you have, then that's pretty maybe dull. I don't know. But yeah. And so, yeah, it makes me crazy, but I kind of have that a little bit. Like I want to be good enough before I show something off, which is why when I did that Cricut video the other night, I was like, because I just learned this today. Normally I like to be a little more polished, but people seem to like it. It's one of our most viewed videos so far. It's high up in the numbers. So hopefully you liked it. It seems like a lot of people did. No one's saying any bad things yet, knock on wood. So yeah. Cynthia says, yeah, he misses out on enjoyment a lot, right? How do you enjoy yourself if you can't do what you love doing because you're not a master at it? I don't know. Andrew says, I put stuff out there. It's a work in progress, and if folks follow along, they can grow with you, right? Teresa says, it is really hard to find things on Society 6. I sometimes try to find Kristen Fagan's or Allegory Gallery. You're not going to find Allegory Gallery, I think, because it's under Andrew Thornton. That's one of the reasons. It's just under Andrew. It's not under the gallery, which is another thing. But yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy. Andrew says, you did a good job. Thanks. I tried. Paula says, you did a great job. Thank you. I tried to do good. Tried to do a good job. Vanessa says, and I think the internet has allowed more people to openly criticize because one can hide behind a screen name. I believe this causes hesitation in sharing these days. I do too. And that's one of the reasons we try and build up the design challenge group, the Allegory Gallery Design Challenges group, because we tell people it doesn't matter where you start. We want to see it. We want to see what you've made. If you have started by doing a stretch cord, your very first stretchy bracelet ever, and it's all the same stone, and that's all that it is, we don't care. We want to see it because the group is a great group for one, and you're going to get nothing but wonderful things said. But you have to put it out there, right? You have to try. And that's the other reason I started William Tries Things last year, which got off to a great start and then puttered out, and then I was picking it back up again. But it's all trying, right? You got to try, and you have to just try new things and try to put yourself out there. And yes, some people may say mean things, and sometimes they do. And it makes me crazy too. And I'll think about it for like 6 days over what one person said over all the nice comments everyone else made. But we all do that, right? Until you just kind of get numb to it enough. You just put enough stuff out there. You're never completely numb. I think it's always going to hurt and sting a little bit if somebody says something mean about what you do, but it helps to just put it out there. And so, Vanessa, like that hesitation in sharing, people do hesitate to share. But if we hesitated to share, Andrew and I, we would be bankrupt, or at least we would have sold everything and we'd be living, very meagerly. You have to put yourself out there a little bit, or, do what feels comfortable to you. But if you want to put yourself out there, don't let those people who are naysayers stop you. Because, you might not know it now, but going and doing these lives for Andrew and I at the very beginning was very intimidating. We started doing them by walking around town and showing you things around town. That's where the around the town videos originated. We haven't done one in a while. I hope to do more. I got to talk with some other merchants when we have more time. But that's where they kind of originate. We just started showing you Ligonier. We started walking down the streets, and we didn't focus on us as much as we turning around the camera, because that was a little bit intimidating to have our face on the camera all the time. I'm used to it now. But, if we wouldn't have started that then, when the pandemic happened, we wouldn't have been semi-used to it in order that we could do these. We do these every weekday pretty much. It would have been a lot harder for us to jump into that and do these. And, these have helped us stay afloat over the pandemic and over these last almost 3 years. So it's really, I can't say it enough. If you want to put something out there into the world, just do it. Just do it. Don't hurt anybody, right? Don't do things that hurt people, but put yourself out there. And, if you have this hankering to make jewelry, go make jewelry and go do stuff, right? Okay, I'm going to catch up on some comments here. Marianne says, masters still learn things. It means they know enough to teach it to others. I don't think you have to be a master to teach it to others. I taught you how to use a Cricut the other day, and I barely knew what I was doing, but I gave you an idea on how to do it. And I was just watching a YouTube video the other day about that, is that, people always, a lot of people want to start their own business, or they want to, but they're like, I'm not specialized in anything. And the whole idea of being specialized, there was a good quote in the video, and it was something about how humans should learn how to do all these things. So humans should learn how to change a diaper, or humans should learn how to, fix your carburetor, or, when there were carburetors, or humans should, know how to fix your pipe or fix a leaky pipe, or, and in the end of the quote, it was that specialization is for insects. And the whole idea, everyone thinks they have to be well-versed enough to teach it to somebody. You only have to know a little bit more than the person you're going to teach it to teach. And the video talked about how schools have a really hard time keeping up with curriculums versus online things. You can watch a YouTube video to learn how to do something, and schools can't change their curriculums that quickly to catch up with everything. And so I don't think, I think if you're a master, you're a master. You know pretty much everything there is to know. That's the idea of a master. I don't think you need to know that much to teach someone else. We've taught a lot of people how to start a website. We're not a master in doing a website, but we've done it enough. So yeah, I think don't limit yourself to not being able to help others. Like, you can teach somebody. I have 43 years of experience in life. There's a lot of things that I've done that no one else has done that I could teach somebody how to do. Can I think of any of those right now? Not on the spot, but it's the same thing. It's like, don't count yourself short because you haven't done a job in this certain thing, or you haven't studied it for 10 years. You all have some knowledge of something that you could teach to someone else. You don't have to be masters of it. This was all about, the video I was watching, by the way, was about starting YouTube, like an independent YouTube business for a single person business, and trying to get people to, realize you've got stuff. You could all start an independent YouTube business right now, because you've all got something that someone else doesn't know, right? And yeah, anyway. Andrew says, people always criticize with or without the internet, right? Student says, especially Instagram with all its highly curated images made by super influencers. Yes, and that's the thing. Like, you know, I would say probably the majority of Instagram is nothing like what we see, right? The algorithms show you the most popular people. They make people popular or break people, right? But the majority of Instagram is people like us, people, just normal people sharing photos. Do you see a lot of those? Probably not. Not until something pops up and they get popular and the algorithm catches on and says, okay, we're going to show this to everybody. But you know how many people are on Instagram? The majority of them are not taking like beautiful, perfect photos every day and posting them. It's just not it. That's not the reality. The reality of Instagram is that there are a lot of just normal people putting out their food pictures and their pet photos, like me, or pictures of their walk they took today, or pictures of their kids. Like, that's the majority of Instagram. It is not what you see. So I think that's a good point too. Bonnie says, I always think of that Pink song. Not sure what you're talking about there, but I love Pink. So any of her songs are great. Amanda says, my first pair of earrings I made was sewing thread. That's all I had, right? That's all you had. So that's what you did. But at least you got started, right? If you would have waited until you had something other than sewing thread, you may have never gotten started. And that's the thing. Marion says, if I can't say something nice, I say nothing, right? That's what I do too. You know, there's no need to put anybody down. You can keep going, just like in life. You see something on the street you don't like, you can keep going. You see something on your timeline you don't like, you can keep going. You don't have to say anything bad. You don't have to. Pamela says, people don't hesitate to criticize the least little thing. It's true. Some people, you know, it makes them feel good. It makes them feel good to tell other people what they see wrong. I have no need for that. If you ask me, if you want a critique, then you can ask. But otherwise, if I don't like it, I'm just going to move on, you know? And, you know, most of the time, even if I don't, like, somebody puts a food photo. If somebody puts a food photo, then I'm like, could have been a better picture. You know what? Doesn't matter. I'll usually give it a like if it's a friend of mine, because at least they tried. Maybe they made the meal. Maybe, you know, maybe they don't have the best camera. Maybe they don't have, you know, access to a light box or, you know, editing software. And, you know, I may not say anything about it, but I'll usually give it a like for, you know, give them some good attention. Thank you for putting this out into the world. Thank you for trying. Thank you for, you know, exposing yourself this way and, you know, taking this risk of you take a risk putting anything out, right? Because like Pam said, they don't hesitate. Sorry, I said Pamela. I don't know if you go by Pam or Pamela. People don't hesitate to criticize. So anybody putting anything out into the world, thank you, because, you know, you're trying. Andrew says, the thing that I believe, though, is that for all the bad out there on the internet, there's also good. If you put yourself out there, you'll find your people. We have, right? We have a good, solid crew of y'all who are AG Bead fam, who really, really care about what we do. And you sit here and watch a video for 2 hours where I just start babbling in the end about what should be in a therapy session, probably, or, you know, we just try to, you know, find your people and, you know, help them, you know, help each other. Facebook user says, it takes some bravery. It does. And it shouldn't. That's the thing. It shouldn't make you feel like you have to be brave to put something out there. It should just be accepted that, yeah, put it out there. As long as you're not hurting other people, right? I always have to put that like asterisk out there. But if you're just doing things that you like to do and you are, you know, just living your life and making things, put it out there. I love to see beginners do stuff. And it is exactly for that reason, is that I know how much they've overcome to not only start whatever they worked on, but to actually have the courage to show it to people. because so much of what we see, talking about the algorithms again, so much of what we see is so polished that it doesn't make it beginner friendly. And so, having done a lot of things in life, you know, in these 43 years so far, almost 43, um, I know how much it takes to start a project, something new. And, you know, you might think about it for a long time, and, you know, especially a creative endeavor, because that's outside the normal business world, right? You have your job, and we define ourselves a lot by what we do in our jobs, at least here in the US. And for somebody to say, okay, I'm going to put that on the side right now, and I'm going to focus on something creative for me. And to go through the process of deciding what that is and getting up the courage to tell your friends, I want to paint, or I want to make pots, or I want to work with wood. And knowing that, you know, there's already that buildup that you have to tell your friends or you have to tell your family that you're going to try something, right? So you go through it and you go through that process and you get to the point where you get some materials and you say, okay, I'm going to try this. And you either watch on YouTube or you take a class locally or something like that. And you put yourself through that, which for a lot of people is difficult. And learning something new can be difficult, right? And then not only do you do that, but you show the very first thing you make. And that I try to do that for myself. Whenever I make something for the first time, I try to show that first thing to people, to the public, out there in the world. Because one, that allows me to get over my own self. And next time I'll put something out there. I'll put something more out there. And two, it also, I hope, shows other people that you can do that too. Get over that little extra step that it takes and just post it. And so that's why in the Design Challenges group on Facebook here, we encourage beginners. We want to see you go out because we know the kind of path and what this creativity and jewelry making can lead you to. It's a wonderful thing. It's self-expression. You may only ever make jewelry for yourself, or you may end up starting a business. We've had, you know, the whole gamut of people in the 11 and a half years or so that we've had the store. And it's great to see beginners because you know what it took to get to that point. You know, kind of from beginner to intermediate to advanced, there's a journey there, and everyone focuses on that journey, the journey of, you know, starting out, and it's not good enough when I start out, I got to get better. But what people don't focus on so much, I think, and what they should focus on is what it took just to become a beginner, just to go from a nothing in the field, never even having done anything, to get to a beginner. That's sometimes just as long of a journey for a lot of people. And so I think you should be proud of any beginner status you have because you've started. And that's what my William Tries Things was about, is that I just want to start trying things so that it shows people that you can just try things. You may not ever do them. You may not stick it out. You may not want to do them anymore, but try them. If you have a thing in your head, you're like, oh, maybe I'd like to make paper beads. Well, Andrew has a video. Go try it. Go make some paper beads. Why the heck not? You know, so I don't know. I'm rambling now probably. Andrew says, I did tutorials on resin. Yes. Jody says, I love seeing the around the town. We love doing them, but we have to find other merchants who want to do them with us. And right now, I put out a call a little bit ago and got no responses. So if I don't get a response, it's hard. It's hard. But there are people that would not have seen my message. So I have to go around and maybe start talking to people again. You know, actually go to people and talk to them instead of being on this thing called the internet. Yeah, but I got to find time to do that too. Teresa says, I put things out there. We have a great group of people in the TGBE. Yes, there is a great group in the TGBE. And I wish more people in the TGBE, I wish we could see more of their stuff. I do. Let's see here. Sorry, I missed a lot of comments. I'm catching up now. Bonnie says, I tried doing lives and it was a complete failure. I hate the way I sound and look. Here's a tip, Bonnie. Never watch your lives. And I know that maybe that sounds bad, but I don't ever really rewatch my lives. Sometimes I do, and A lot of times if we're showing products and I forget what price I priced something during the live or whatever, I have to rewind and try and find out where I said that. And sometimes even hearing my own voice is like, oh, why would people listen to this? But we all have a little bit of that, I think. And it's because we have lived, however old you are, 43 almost here, with the voice in your head. I know what I sound like in my head, but when you hear your voice outside of your head, and the way that you sound to other people, it's different. And the way you look on camera is different than you look in a mirror. Like this camera that I'm watching now, you can flip it. But a lot of times when a camera films you, it's filming the other side of you, like it's reversed, especially when you're looking at yourself in a live like this. And it makes you look different because you're not used to seeing yourself without that kind of, it's a different reflection. It's weird, but that's the way it is. So I would say if you like doing lives, if you like the idea of doing them, don't let that stop you, because you may hate the way you sound and look. Like, I think I look like a little bit of a vagabond today. I have my hair crazy. And I don't really, I don't listen to myself again when I don't play these back, but I just do them. One, we have to do them because it helps the business. But two, I like doing lives. I just like the idea of communicating and, interacting kind of with people. And, there's 20 of you watching right now that must like what I'm saying, because I've had about 20 to 23 here, which is good, right? I hope. But yeah, if you like it, do it. Don't worry about what you think about what you're doing. Sometimes I know that seems counterproductive, but if I worried and thought about every single thing I say on these, I would go home like, oh, did I say too much? Oh, I hope I didn't offend somebody because I said that little thing. Or, go and do it if you like it. If you think you like it. Sorry. I need a drink. Andrew says, but it was like every 3 months you had to really want to watch to finish a project. I don't know what you're talking about there. I'm too far removed from what I was saying. Every 3 months you had to really watch to finish a project. I don't know. Bonnie says, you guys have pleasant sounding voices. I don't know. Like I said, I don't listen to myself after any of these. When I have to edit it, when I'm talking about the podcast again, Allegory Gallery interviews, when I have to edit those. And so I have to listen to myself over and over and over and over and over again. And no matter what, I will always find something that I'm like, that's hard to edit out. And I'm like, I just have to leave that because it's fine. It just, sometimes it's something I say run on in between words and it's hard to cut. And, because I cut and edit the podcasts and things. And it's hard. It's hard to listen to myself. Even you may like my voice, but it's weird to listen to ourselves no matter what, because I sound very different in my head. I have a deeper voice in my head, and I think it sounds better than what comes out, even though I don't mind my voice so much. I don't choose to listen to it. Cindy says, I myself try to share everything I make. However, it's a lot. By the way, I need to finish my pieces from the things I got from you way back this summer. That's okay. Keep working. As long as you keep working, right? And it's good you share. It's good to share. Amanda says, the AG group is a safe space. Yes, Allegory Gallery design challenges or anything that has to do with Allegory Gallery, we make it a safe space. Don't worry. Share your stuff. You'll get good feedback. You'll get encouragement. If you have a question, somebody probably will have an answer. If you want to critique, I'm sure people would do that too. But they're not going to critique it unless you ask for that, because it's a good group of people and they don't want to offend anyone. They don't want to, we all, I think, kind of know how hard it is to get started. And we don't want to deter anyone from doing that, because you might be a great jewelry maker and you just don't know it yet. Let's see here. Andrew says, I think you learn from teaching as well. Yes. Every time I teach somebody how to do something, I learn something, either sometimes it's why they couldn't do it or didn't know how to do it. Sometimes it's the way they think versus the way I think, and it takes on a different, kind of thought process. Um, Sometimes as you're teaching, you think of something else related to that you need to investigate yourself, because you're like, what? This has happened a lot when I teach. I'm like, what if they ask? I'll start talking, explaining something. And in my head, as I'm explaining, I'm like, ooh, I just said something that, what if they ask me a question about that? I'm not going to have the answer, and you worry about that. But most of the time they don't ask that. But if they do, I learned the best thing at Apple that has helped my entire life. When I worked for Apple, when a customer had a question, if you didn't know the answer, you could not say, at least you weren't supposed to say, I don't know. You always said, let's find out. Because within the Apple store, there was somebody there on any given day that knew the answer to your question, right? If somebody had a question about, film editing software, because I had never used that before, Final Cut Pro. If somebody asked you a question while they were buying a computer, they're like, oh, well, could I hook up this and would it be able to handle this? And if you didn't know, you just said, let's go find out. And you would take them around the store and you would find the people who worked with video, because there was somebody who worked with video there. So let's find out has been the best thing for if I get tripped up or if a customer asks me something I don't know, because it happens almost every day. You say, let's find out, and you look it up, and it's okay, right? It's okay not to know things. And we spend a lot of time trying to hide the fact that we don't know things, when really the only way to learn is to not know things in the first place and then learn them, right? Okay. Jody says, I had to learn how to put a windshield washer fluid in my car this year, and it wasn't as hard as I thought it would be, right? Yeah, I had to do that at one time. Learn how to put oil in your car. I had a car that ran through oil like crazy at one point. I didn't grow up rich. I had an old car, and it ran through oil. So I had to learn how to put the oil and how to check the oil in the car and how to put the fluids in the car, right? Didn't have to learn how to change the oil because it ran through it enough. But yeah, we learn things and it's fun, right? And generally, once you learn it, you're like, oh, okay. Susan says, schools usually have curriculum that's mandated. Mandated, I don't know what that is. Mandated by federal law and state, and it's not easily changed. Right. So they can't keep up with what you might be able to teach someone. And that was the point, is that you could probably teach something to someone better than a school system could in some cases, because you may know it better from living it and being up to date with it when a school can't be. Let's see here. Bonnie says, I got to get up and try by Pink. Nice. Nice. Jody says, I did a project with a wig jig last month and it turned out terrible. I posted it anyway, explaining it was my first time and the people were so supportive. It will be fun to look back on it when I get better at it. And that's the thing, like, we can look at our own progress by posting these things and not being afraid. Because if you hate the first thing you do and you throw it out because of that, you can't see your journey. You can't see how far you've come. And I have a habit of doing that, of kind of eliminating, even in my mind, like emptying the trash of my mind, instead of, keeping things there. So it's hard for me to track my own progress. And so I'm trying to be better about that too. So good, Jody. Nice. Pamela says, I prefer Pam, but Pamela works. Yeah, you just come up as Pamela on here. So I like to use whatever people put in their profile. But I thought you were Pam somewhere else, either on Facebook or an email. So good. Pam, I was right. Andrew said, criticism isn't necessarily bad. I think that's where things get confused. But the reason why it gets a bad reputation is that people oftentimes don't know how to deliver their advice without hurting them. Yeah, criticism, constructive criticism, right? That's a thing. And we had to name it that because there's also, criticism where people, you like to use it to hurt you. But constructive criticism, and what I think criticism should be, or a critique should be, is a learning process, right? And how you can get better. Ask somebody who knows more so that you can get better. And that's all teaching is, right? Teaching somebody who doesn't know as much. And being a student is looking up to somebody who teaches. So, if I started French class and, you never had a test or never had an oral test, how would you know without that criticism if it was good or if you were getting any better. You wouldn't. Facebook user says, I like the company of listening to y'all, right? I think it's good. I think it's good. And, you know, I like to have TV on in the background, whether it's nonsense TV or whatever, when I'm working, because it gives that appearance of having company. And I'm glad we could be your company, whoever you are out there, Facebook user, it's coming up, but whoever you are today, Facebook user, thank you. Thank you for watching. Cindy says, exactly, Andrew. Sometimes my opinions get a little harsh on certain subjects, but anyone that knows me, I speak my mind. My motto is, if you ask me for advice about something, be prepared to hear the truth, if that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, there's something to that. I'm less like that. If you ask me something, I will tell you the truth, but I will try and sugarcoat it if I need to. Some people don't do that. Some people are just very blunt, and that's just a different style. I very much... I will give you the good and the bad, but I will try and sugarcoat the bad if I think it might hurt somebody. Let's see here. Oops, scrolling. Sorry, I'm lagging behind a little bit. Facebook user says, I have a friend who paints and is also a potter. I love some of her stuff and some of it not so much. She sells her stuff to all types of people, even the stuff I don't care for. There's a big market out there. And that's what we have to remember. You may not like everything we do. We may not like everything we see other people do, but somebody, and that's why we talk about, like with Andrew's paintings and with the work we do, like we're trying to find it permanent homes. And I say that a lot. And all that means is we're looking for the person in that big market who enjoys it, right? And who really wants it. So it's very true. You may not like everything somebody does, but somebody may love it, right? Marianne says, I still make little entries in a journal. Nice. Good. I wish I would have kept up with my journaling a little bit more. I got to get back into it. Amanda says, today I joined the Bead Society. The artists in this club are very talented. It's intimidating, but I need to get out there. Yes, you know, push ourselves a little bit. My anxiety stops me from pushing myself a lot because I worry about everything. But I'm trying to get lower key and trying not to worry so much. Bonnie says, that's good advice, William. I'm glad something I said was good. Was good. I don't know which part of it was, but thank you. I'm glad. Andrew says, but why does truth have to be harsh? I don't think it necessarily has to be. There's a beauty in kindness. Even if I see something that needs a lot of work, there's a way to say things that will build someone up instead of tear them down. Exactly. Exactly. Andrew says, unless you're a dominatrix, LOL. Ronnie says, great conversation, but I'm distracted with the thought that the view on screen has you looking like Hearn. The branches in the background look like antlers. Oh, that's funny. I didn't even notice that until just now. That's funny. It looks like you are on the other side. Maybe I am. Maybe I am. I've not met some of you. Maybe we're all on the other side from each other and we don't even know it. Who knows, right? Parallel universes and all that. I'm not going to move my head, though, because I actually think that's kind of cool. Facebook user says, there's a lady who does lives and her stuff is great, but I don't like her voice. I decided to get over it because she is great, right? Yeah, I'll watch YouTube videos, and sometimes the very first video of somebody new is like, because you just, you know, you follow the people you like, and you get into like this, they have the certain speech patterns, and you get used to that. And then you listen to somebody completely different who may be super knowledgeable in what you want to learn, but it's different. Even just the fact that it's different sometimes is like, and so there are a lot of people that I start watching, and I'm like, who this person's voice or their tempo or, you know, the speed, or, and then you just watch a few videos and you're like, oh, why'd I ever have a problem before, right? It does. Andrew says, I don't go on as much because I feel self-conscious. It is hard. When I was really shy when I was young and told that I was ugly my whole life. It's hard not to hear those voices in the back of your head. Yeah, it's hard. You know, I wasn't told that except by myself a lot. I was picked on a lot when I was younger. Like gym class was like, it was literally abuse, honestly. I was abused in gym class, not, but I was hit, I was punched, and nobody did anything about it. Even me, which was not great. But I was well trained in martial arts, but, there was something that stopped me from doing that. And I wasn't able to stick up for myself, and I was telling myself bad things about myself. And so a lot of that took a long time. A lot of it I'm still not over, but it's enough that I can do some things like this. But yeah, sometimes we're told things by other people, or we tell ourselves things, and it's not easy to overcome because those voices are there until you really crowd them out. Andrew says, it's hard not to hear those inner demons, but I focus on the good. What is the best thing that could happen instead of thinking about what is the worst? I have a bad habit of thinking about what is the worst that could happen. And, I'm trying to do this when I start down the line of thinking about bad things and something bad happening. I think of what is the best thing that could happen, right? Because I'm always thinking about the worst. And I'm thinking then what is the best thing that could happen? And this is like the mind of an anxious person. It has, like, before you say, well, maybe you knew something bad was coming. No, this is like, you haven't even started, you don't even know, but you are thinking about the worst thing that could happen, because that's what anxiety does. It points you down that road instead of pointing you, like, even with no experience, you're going to be pointed down the road of this is going to be bad. Even if you have some good experience, it could still do that. So I've been trying to counter everything as much as I can when I catch myself doing it. I don't always catch myself, but when I do, I'm trying to counter it with what is the best thing that could happen. Because, and I do that because I also tell myself both of those things are not reality. None of them have happened. So each one could be equally possible than the other. And if you're just focusing on the bad, like, because I have a habit of thinking about really good things and be like, oh, that could never happen. Like, just could never happen. But I can think that the worst thing possible could happen. Like, why is that? Both things have not happened. Both things are not real at this moment. You're making them up in your head. But each one could be just as real as the other, but you choose to believe the bad one. Why? And so I'm trying to kind of jog myself into, thinking that. Susan says, I totally relate hearing voices of those in the past who made crude and cruel comments to me. This could have happened 5 or 50 years ago. I still hear them. It's true. It's hard to get rid of those. It is hard to get rid of those. Marion says, truth is underrated. Sometimes the truth, the people should tell the truth. I think if the truth becomes cold and distant or uncaring or unfeeling, then you can keep your truth, because you can probably keep yourself. Because I don't think that's necessary either, right? That's like, if you just speak the truth because you're a truth teller, then you're not concerned about the feelings of anybody, and you're not really, people say I tell the truth because it makes me human, it makes me real, I'm more real than other people. But being caring and compassionate is a real thing that people need too. They need that as much, if not more, than they need the truth sometimes. So I think if you can't deliver the truth in a kind way, or a way that's not going to hurt someone, then you're not being any more real. You're not being any more real. You're just being, annoying, maybe. I don't know. Like, I think there's always a way to not hurt someone's feelings when it's not needed, right? And most of the time it's not needed. Let's see. Cynthia says, I'm seeing where some of the inspiration for Andrew's paintings are coming, right? Subliminal messaging, maybe. Andrew says, when I was in art school, it could be brutal. I think, though, in hindsight, there were a lot of people trying to find themselves, and they fall into the trap of having to put other people down to feel more comfortable and confident in what they are doing. That happens a lot too, right? A lot of people who are cruel in their truth are doing it because they feel better by, putting other people down. And there's no need. There's no need. If you have to put somebody down, then you don't need to be associated with them. And if you have somebody putting you down, you most likely don't need to be associated to them. It's hard when you're in school, though. That's a hard thing. Andrew says, the secret is that when we heal others, we help heal. When we heal others, when we help others, we heal ourselves, we help ourselves. It's true. It is true. Facebook user says, some of us have to fight the voices in our heads our whole life. It's worth the fight. Mostly at 70, I'm trying to just be here today. Right? I'm 43. I can remember a time, like I was thinking about this the other night. There was a time in my life when I wasn't mean to myself. And that's mainly probably up until I was about 10 or 11, maybe 12. When I just didn't have this idea of, you don't have as much of a self-image, mostly before puberty, right? Before you start having feelings for other people and what they might like or not like, or that's where a lot of, I think, my stuff came into. But it's getting back to being that kid where you don't care what other people say. Like if somebody were mean to you as a kid, like when you were 8 or 9 or 10, if some stranger said something, it might have stung for a little bit and then you just forgot about it. Like it didn't matter. They weren't even in your world. And we as adults don't do that. We as adults ruminate on that sometimes. It's just like, think about it, think about it, think about it. Those people aren't in our world most of the time, right? That stranger on the internet who dumped on you and left, you may never see them again. So why do we hold on to that? And that's one of those things that, as you say, mostly at 70, you're trying to be here today. Just be here. Forget about the rest of it, right? As much as you can. Those people, they don't need to be in your life if they're doing that. Most of them aren't anyway. They just run, especially on the internet. They're just run by, or run by fruiting, as they said in Mrs. Doubtfire. Ronnie says, I always appreciate helpful criticism about my efforts. I try to separate that from someone's opinion. That's the other thing. Sometimes criticism comes only from somebody else's opinion on it, and that's not the best always, right? Unless you're asking for someone's opinion, then that's okay. Let's see here. Susan says, there are different types of truth. Not all need to fall under the standard used for court of law, right? Andrew says, I was trained from an early age to see the bad in things, always looking for how things would end or fall apart. It has taken a long time to see how the end isn't necessarily the worst thing. Yeah. I like to, growing up, my family always supported what I did, and they always tried to tell me to believe in myself and what I'm doing, and that I was always good at things. And yet, even in that, in their own lives, a lot of times, there was a lot of things that they looked on the bad side of things. Like, it wasn't that they were telling me that, it was that I was, subliminally seeing that and living in that sometimes. And so that came into me too. And so, going from a carefree kid who was probably a little bit obnoxious, because I was probably a little self-involved, because I came up with so many things in my head, and I tell people what I came up with, and the stories that I'd play things, and just things like that. And then it was like, then suddenly you're an adult, right? Suddenly you're an adult, and it's trying to kind of balance that out, and not totally get rid of it, but get rid of some of that stuff that you captured as you were going through life from other people. Just that, kind of that energy that you walk through and it sticks to you, right? Even though I was told that I was smart, I was good at things, never not encouraged on something that I liked to do. I was fully supported, and yet I still have the habit of looking at how things aren't going to work out, even though that has not been what life has proven to be generally. I'm still here. We're still doing things. Things are still working. So you got to kind of try and shed off. And that's what I'm trying to do in my 40s. Hopefully by the time I'm in my 50s, I'm much better at it. That's what I hope. Anyway, oops, comments jumped. Sorry. Marion says, being cruel is not being truthful, though, in my opinion. Compassion in what you voice is necessary. I guess I have a different perspective on the concept of truth. Truth is better than a sweet lie. Yes, most of the time. I don't know. I think, yeah, I think that's a whole different subject, getting into the truth versus lies and compassion, and it's a lot. That's a lot to talk about, and we're talking about a lot. Facebook user says, art school was brutal. I was lucky I was fairly talented, so the teachers were seldom cruel to me. I never understood why teachers were so cruel, but because of them, I've avoided a lot of the art scene. And I think that's a thing. Like, I think that's a thing. People start to avoid, like, you could have one bad experience with one person, and whatever that person did, if they were an artist, if they were, they were a mushroom hunter, like, no matter what they did, if you have a bad experience with somebody, it puts you off of doing that whole thing sometimes. And I think it's important to try to separate that, but it's not always easy. Andrew says, whenever I catch myself being cruel, I ask myself why. Generally, it's because I have issues with that particular thing, and understanding why we do things empowers us to make the decision to change them if we want. Yeah. I think that's true. And I think that can tie into, like, if somebody else were cruel and you don't like that thing now, and you end up with issues with that particular thing, or I don't know, there's a lot to it all, right? There's a lot to it. And I've been talking for long enough, keeping you all here. So Marion says, if you need to lie, better to say nothing. I think so. I think generally so. Generally, I think so. I definitely think so. There's an order. That's a great way to end the live, with an order. So please, everyone, go out there and make an order. And if you like the Amethyst Design Challenge mix, that is now available for February. We're getting it out there early, y'all. So you got a little bit of time if you need to wait to buy it. But there are a limited number. We have a good bit of them, but they're still limited, remember. These aren't endless. So get yours if you want to join us on the Zoom in February. I think that was the 17th, February 17th. It's the Friday. We also have the Painted Desert Luxury Bead Blend. So that is available also in the online store. Marianne says, deep conversations, right? Facebook user said, enjoyed this. Thank you. Thank you for joining us out there. Just like I was saying, right? All the stuff that I said tonight is all stuff that I'm learning. And maybe you've all already learned and you can relate, or you don't know some of this, or you haven't thought about some of this. So maybe I'm teaching you something, right? You can be a teacher at all ages of your life and all stages, because you've all done something that someone else out there hasn't done, and you can teach them. So be a good teacher, be a good helper, help people out. And if you need to make a business out of it, find something you're good at, find something you've done in your life that somebody else hasn't. It's just finding your people. It's always finding your people, right? Whether it's things you relate to, whether it's things you want to learn, it's things you want to teach. You just got to find your people. Andrew says, nice is good, but there are plenty of people who are nice, but they will hurt you. There are some people who aren't particularly nice, but they'll help you in more ways than you might realize. Yeah, nice is a tricky thing. Nice can be a tricky thing. Coming from somebody who tries to be nice most of the time. I try a lot. But sometimes that, as I was talking about earlier, I don't always stick up for me. And I would have to be a little bit less than nice to be able to stand up for myself more. And that's something I need to work on too. Andrew says, one of my dear friends doesn't have a filter. They might be on the spectrum. And some of the things they say can be hurtful, but they'll fight for you until they die, right? Yeah. And I think maybe a lot of us have those kind of friends. And that's where sometimes, this whole truth, like everyone has probably someone in their life when you say they're truthful and they immediately come to your mind and like, they're too truthful, right? And that's where we get these gray areas of, whether being truthful and caring and all that stuff. But you know, some people are hard truth tellers, but when it all comes down to it, they seriously care about you. And some people are just, you know, not nice. So there's that too. Suzanne says, I don't consider myself nice, but if you are my friend, I will always have your back. See, that's good, I guess, maybe. I consider myself nice, and sometimes I wish I weren't so nice, because I'm one of those people that it's hard to say no. I'm one of those people that take on a lot, or even just like emotionally take on a lot from other people, when I should just say, it's not my business right now. I got to do my own thing. But that's good. Marion says, and you can learn no matter how old you are. Yes, how old or how young, you can always learn. You can learn something. I truly believe that. And I also believe you can learn anything. I believe you can learn to do anything, no matter what. If you have a problem with languages, you can still learn. You just got to find, your pace might be slower, and you just got to find the right person to teach you. You want to learn math, not been good at it, just got to find the right way. And maybe you'll be slower at it, but you will still learn things. I do find that true. Andrew says, I know some people who are sweeter than sugar, but they actively work to destroy my ability to live my life. Yeah, there are people like that. People think they're so nice, and they put on a good, nice act. But they will work to tear you down in the background. We've been through that in these 11 to 12 years we've had the store, and more so just in life. They're out there. Andrew says, I value your niceness, William. It has taught me to be kinder. Thank you. But I also see Andrew stands up for himself, and he stands up for his friends when something happens. And that has taught me that sometimes being a pushover and being too nice can be detrimental. So it's finding that balance. And again, finding your people to help you balance. And we've got a wonderful AG Bead fam out there that I've been talking to for almost 2.5 hours. So I'll let y'all go. I need to get home and eat. I think Andrew made chili, vegetarian chili. So I am hungry for it. So I'll let y'all go. Thank you all so much. If you enjoyed this, please hit the share. Maybe warn your people that you share with that there's like a therapy session involved or something, or deep discussions, we'll call it that, like Marianne said. But I hope you did enjoy this. If you did enjoy it, please hit the share. Please hit that thumbs up or love. Do the love. Hit the subscribe button if you're on YouTube out there. We appreciate that. Trying to keep those numbers going up so YouTube keeps liking us. And please, if you can afford it and you like anything that we showed you, please purchase something. That helps. We're getting flat out telling you, please purchase. It helps, right? You got to keep your small business loves in business. And that's what we try and do. Any small business that we have a little bit of extra money and we want to make sure they keep going, we throw a little money their way when we can. So we appreciate that you all do that, and share with your friends and let them do that too, right? All right, everybody. Let's see. I have a few more comments and then I'm going to go. Teresa says, I'm extremely nice, so sometimes people try to take advantage. It's true. That's what I have found. That can happen a lot. Cindy says, I'm always learning from others. In other words, I think I'm a nice person, but don't take me for granted. I love you. I haven't even met you yet. Thank you. Susan says, sounds like an old coworker of mine. Everyone thought she was the greatest, but scrape off the surface, and she was a nasty piece of emoji. Poop emoji. Yeah, it can happen. Andrew says, I've actually been thinking about doing art therapy sessions. That would be cool. That'd be something to add. That'd be fun. So yeah, art therapy sessions with Andrew? Maybe. All right, everybody. Thank you again. Buy something if you liked it. If you didn't, that's okay. There's always next time. Hit that share button and subscribe wherever we are. We appreciate that. Trying to get the following everywhere so that if one thing goes down, another thing is there for you all. All right. Thank you so very much. Thanks for listening. Thanks for talking along and chatting along with me. And again, if you're thinking about doing something out there, whether it's jewelry, whether it's pottery, whether it's going live, any of the things we've talked about and anything else, anything else, please just start. Just start doing it. If you're not a member of the William Tries Things, my page, go search William Tries Things on Facebook and Instagram. We have a group called the Triers. Get in that group and show us whatever you're trying, because that's what I'm trying to do, is get people to realize it's okay to try things. It's okay to show what you're trying. And if you don't like it, you don't like it. But if you might find a new love of your life, right? So join me there and show me what you're trying. All right, everybody. This is William and Andrew in the comments for Allegory Gallery. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you back here tomorrow. I think Andrew will have something. The store will be closed, so if you're local, we're closed on Tuesdays for the winter now. But Andrew will be here with a demonstration or tutorial or something tomorrow. All right. And if not, if we get crazy, I'll be back on Wednesday. Thank you all so very much. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful evening. Bye, everybody.